first of all, it comes out of the wrong head, and that is, beat up the artist, maximizing the bottom line. That's not the way to work with art. In my view, not everything is sex and rock and roll. I'm sorry. I think there's more to it. And music is a cultural locomotive. There was somewhat of a learning curve about the record business initially. So we made lots of mistakes and learned a lot. And I think today we're in a place where we say, especially with Fania and Kubané, quality is the number one objective. And in today's fabulous technological paradise almost, you can take timeless recordings, but that maybe were recorded, say, 40 years ago, and restore them to something like they've never sounded. Because, as you know, you used to get it on tape, then it was mixed, and so it was then in some kind of a master. And from the master, they would press vinyls initially, or, well, very much in the beginning, it was wax, 78s and so on. And then the CDs were invented, and many times the record companies mastered from the LPs instead of going back to the original master. And we work with a group of excellent professionals, one of them in particular. I mean, they're all excellent, but Bob Katz, he's a 3-time Grammy winner, runs a company out of Orlando called Digital Domain. He wrote a book on mastering and is quite obsessed with mastering. He's fabulous. He's like a rocket science. He's very, very good. And he built his own machines and has still analog machines. I mean, he's really, really careful. So qualities, I would think, is the number one objective and the number one change. And then you also have to have, I believe, a position as a marketer that respects the customer. Something I learned from TV. If in television you do not respect your viewer, you're not going to get ratings. Now, that sort of sounds banal and kind of simple, but then sometimes the greatest things in life are simple. Because the very words that you use in a promo have to do if you respect the viewer or not. It's that level. You don't look down on your viewer. You don't look up. You treat your viewer with respect. There are a number of examples in programming. For instance, you don't make abrupt programming changes without taking the viewer to that change. Well, it's the same thing in music. You need to respect your customer. So, for instance, what we've done with Fania, which used to have just one piece of paper included, sort of like this. This is a sampler, and obviously, it was just one piece of paper in most of the CDs, and it was fine. They sold a lot of them, and it worked for them. But what we've decided to do is we make liner notes. We have professional people write liner notes, put in pictures so that the new generation knows who was Joe Bataan and what did he look like at the time, at least. And it's also important that we have a picture from the time, okay? Liner notes in Spanish and English, written by music professors, ethnomusicologists, journalists, musicians, and so on. And for the very first time, in many cases, we have a lineup of musicians. And to the fanatics of salsa, the collectors, this is very important to know that this person played the trombone or whatever. So that's what we try to do. And we're also bringing out the product at a price that's more accessible than it was in the past. So better sound, better packaging, better price. And we hope the public responds.